Hi, and thanks for watching This Week in East Brunswick, the town's own news and information program. This week we'll start at East Brunswick High School, where Humanities teacher Lou Chalupa will tell us about their food drive, held last week to help out needy families in the area on Thanksgiving. Also, Ken Koppel, supervisor of practical and visual arts for East Brunswick schools, will tell us about their Artist in Residence program, featuring performers from Lincoln Center. And of course, our regular features. Money Tips with Paul Hansen, this week with questions for a financial planner. An Arts Update with Township Arts Coordinator Dolly Vasta. Health Facts and information on heart disease. Consumer Aware with Adrian Eisner, and tips for holiday shopping. And we'll finish with our Township Council review. But first, a look at what's on Channel 8 next week. Monday at 10 a.m. it's Look Great, Feel Great with Lenore Kulik, and a special show on fashion and fitness. At 10:30, it's The Arts, produced by the Middlesex County Cultural and Heritage Commission. Tuesday at 7 p.m., Check It Out, produced by the Libraries of Middlesex. At 7:30, John Megliaro interviews Ted Sklavos and Mark Raskin, two former drug abusers from the Daytop Village Drug Rehabilitation Center, discussing sports and drug abuse on Sports Talk. Wednesday at 3 p.m., it's Stories for the Kids. And at 7:30, it's For Art's Sake, and the Crossroads Theater Company with Executive Director Rick Kahn and Artistic Director Lee Richardson. Thursday at 7 and 8 p.m., an all-new This Week in East Brunswick. And at 8:30, it's About East Brunswick with Mayor William F. Fox, this time discussing finance and commuter parking with Township Finance Director L. Mason Neely. And for repeats of all of our shows, check the Channel 8 program guide. Now let's go to the high school and join Humanities teacher Lou Chalupa at their food drive taped last Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving.
The Humanities students this year have decided to go along with the tradition of collecting food and helping out some families in the area for Thanksgiving. So what you will see is the food that we've collected, and the families that have been identified by Mrs. Siebels, our school nurse, who happens to be the local angel in East Brunswick, and we'll be delivering the food after school. For those people who want the food delivered, for those who are concerned about that, we have the food here and then they come and they pick it up after school. And we have 12 families that have been identified, and so we've got plenty of turkeys, and some of the kids went out yesterday to buy vegetables and fruits, and they went to the local ShopRite, as a matter of fact, and they were given all the vegetables that they needed. So we've had a very positive response from the community as well. This is probably at least the 10th year that I can recall, and every year we get involved, and we have food drives, and then we have toy drives during the holiday season, Christmas time, and clothing drives, and things to get kids involved in some kind of social service project to help other people. This essentially has been all seniors. There have been a couple of individual classes that have added to it and supported it, but essentially it's been seniors and humanities classes. And the kids are very excited.
Now let's join Ken Koppel, supervisor of practical and visual arts, for a look at another program that's taking place in the humanities classes.
I'm proud to be associated with the Lincoln Center Institute program. It's programs like this that make the East Brunswick School District unique and sets us apart from other schools. Today we're going to see one small segment of the Lincoln Center Institute program. Lincoln Center Institute has over 81 schools participating in their program in New York City. 600 teachers attend, and they have 55 teacher artists involved. Over half of our schools in East Brunswick participate in the Lincoln Center program. The philosophy of Lincoln Center Institute is that they want to bring our students and all students to see quality, established works of art. In order to do that, they have found that students must learn to understand, to speak the language, to appreciate arts programs. They call that aesthetic education. They do not sacrifice quality when bringing in programs. Shakespeare, Stravinsky, Schubert, Balanchine, the great works of art are brought in from Lincoln Center directly into the schools. In order to do that, children must be trained in order to understand and appreciate these programs. And in order for the children to understand and appreciate, teachers must be trained as well. Therefore, Lincoln Center sets aside 3 weeks at Lincoln Center for beginning teachers, first-year teachers, to attend workshops all day long in New York City. Our teachers, 3 from each building, have attended these workshops. The program that we're seeing today consists of 2 Lincoln Center Institute teachers, Miranda Hentoff and Willie Reale. They are doing a follow-up from the Green Night, which was a program that Lincoln Center introduced to our students a few weeks ago. The teachers, when they select programs for the schools, bring in programs that they think are appropriate to their children. But in order to do that, they have to work with the students and train them, and they receive help as well from Lincoln Center Institute by bringing in teaching artists such as Miranda Hentoff and Willie Reale. Usually, these teachers come in 2 or 3 or 4 times during the school year. The performance today, as I said, is just a follow-up, and they will be also introducing work for the next program as well.
What other action was sort of unclear during the course of the Go ahead.
Yeah, when he crossed the river.
When he crossed, yes, I agree, and a lot of people have said that, and I think it's true, and I think that is like, they failed there. They failed to make that clear. You know, like when you're, I mean, the whole idea of the art form is to sort of get a story across. I mean, if that is the idea, which I think it is. I mean, the primary thing that one must do when one is putting on any sort of stage presentation is to get the story over, you know. Just like if you're going to be reading a story to a little kid, you're not, in the middle of it, you can't start speaking Swahili. You know, you really have to keep it real clear for the kid so that the kid doesn't get distracted or bored or frustrated. And I think that is a cardinal sin in the theater, is to frustrate your audience by baffling them. Because you either sit there getting bored or feeling stupid because you don't get what's going on. So what we'd like to do today is, and just as an aside, I think the reason for that was that Dick Paisley, who wrote the music for this thing, wrote some great music. And the music sort of overpowered that. And I think like the whole rehearsal process became about the music instead of about the story, which is not to take anything away from the music, which I think is terrific. But I don't think the production got to stand up to the music because he was the influential force there. He was sort of
But
like
it could have stood up to the music.
But it could have,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely. You know, with a little bit of imagination and
Direction.
so Miranda's going to give you some sounds, and you are going to
Visualize. Remember that first thing that we did when I was here alone without Willie? You did pieces to those little scenes I gave you? Right? Okay. This time it's reversed. I'm going to give you the music, and you put yourself in a place. Okay, so think of what images this is about. Yeah, should we lower the light? Oh, we can't lower the lights. Okay. Good time. Just close your eyes. Close your eyes and listen. Sounds are subtle. Listen to the variations too. Okay. Yeah.
somebody
Voices.
crying. I like that.
Somebody crying. And here's another one. What did you say? Did you get the voices too?
Yeah.
His
You
uncle's
have
got
this
one.
instrument?
My uncle does.
You've seen all of these sounds. It's called laser sweep. Okay. And still not. Wait, and a lot of these sounds have a different attack and decay. Listen. Turns into that. Where might you use that sound? Where might you be with that? I think okay, it's a very spacey sound. Video, yeah, electronics. What else? Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. Is Is it a calm scene on the lawn with your dog and the kids? Not that you're being invaded by
I'm Paul Hansen with this week's Money Tip. People who lack the time or expertise to manage their income and assets are increasingly turning to financial planners. However you choose to pay for your financial advice, your expense is relatively modest compared with the potential long-term rewards and risks of following a planner's specific recommendations. Here are some of the questions that you might want to be asking your prospective financial planner. What will it cost me to carry out this advice? A competent planner should provide you with an accounting of any commissions he receives on products he recommends. These charges usually range from less than 1% to more than 10%. Second, how have you exercised due diligence on these products? Most planners, including those who work for institutions, rely entirely on the research provided by broker-dealers who supply products and conduct the required due diligence. Ask your planner to summarize when and how such research was done and why he's satisfied that it's accurate. Third, why do I need additional insurance coverage? You can expect your planner to estimate the current income your family would require should you die or become disabled, and tell you how the policies he recommends would provide for those needs. Fourth, is the portfolio you proposed appropriately diversified? A conscientious planner should balance your assets among different investments so that your total return will be reasonably stable despite market or interest rate fluctuations. Fifth, does this plan give me ample liquidity for emergencies? As a rule, you should be capable of raising cash equal to at least 3 months net income in the event of unexpected expenses or temporary unemployment. Sixth, what sort of returns can I expect to achieve? Your planner should be able to project how much wealth you can hope to accumulate over the next 5 years or so. Ask about his assumptions for your real rate of return, which is adjusted for inflation. Most investors will do well if their returns consistently outpace inflation by 2 or 3% a year. Seventh, how will you help me realize my retirement goals? He should tell you whether he thinks you'll be able to save more or work longer to meet your retirement goals. He should suggest a schedule for gradually shifting your investment priorities in favor of capital preservation and increased income. Ninth, and finally, do you follow your own financial advice? If his answer is occasionally or usually, a planner should be willing to document his own ownership of products that he's recommending for you. The fact that an advisor has his money where his mouth is provides additional assurance that he has your best interest at heart. There's no one better able to manage your money than you. Make the wise choice. I'm Paul Hansen, host of You and Your Money, with this week's Money Tip.
Hi, I'm Dolly Vasta with an arts update. I wanted to tell you about a couple of productions coming up this weekend I don't want you to miss. The first one is the Philmusica Chamber Choir at Playhouse 22. That will be on this Sunday, December 7th, 3:00 p.m. There's a small admission charge, $2.50 for adults and $1 for seniors and students. We will be having a little reception for the group afterwards. Take time out from shopping and come enjoy a wonderful afternoon of holiday music. Now, the second program is also this weekend, and it takes place down at the Votech High School on Ruse Lane. And that's the wonderful Fats Waller musical, Ain't Misbehavin'. And it's produced by the county, the Plays in the Park, all those wonderful shows that you see in the summer. Well, they are the producers of this show. It's directed by Ernie Albrecht. It's choreographed by Sherry Albin and musically directed by Ernie Scott. And that's, oh, they're a great trio. The music is superb. Come join us, and I'll have to read this to you because I don't want to goof on it, all right? Saturday, December 6th at 7 p.m. and Saturday, December 6th at 9:30 p.m. are the two shows this weekend. And then there's the last show on Sunday evening, December 7th at 7:00 p.m. You can call, make reservations, 548-2884. That's 548-2884. I'm sure there will also be tickets available at the box office. And while I'm thinking about tickets, tickets are available at the box office, also at the Playhouse for the musical program on Sunday afternoon. There's no need to make reservations. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. All right, that's done with. I also want to remind all of you that my own show, For Art's Sake, will be going out on the air again next week, on next Wednesday night at 7:30 on Channel 8. And we have a wonderful show featuring Crossroads Theater with their two artistic directors and founders, Lee Richardson and Rick Kahn. Please tune in because we had a ball doing it and you'll love it. And speaking of For Art's Sake, kind of leads me into the last announcement that I had for today, and it's kind of a fun one. And I wanted to share it all with you as I've shared all our shows with you. On October 27th in Atlantic City at the Imperial Music Room in the Hotel Trump, the Trump Hotel at Trump Casino, the CTN annual dinner and award ceremony was held for all the shows in CTN, and their awards for 1986 was given out. Chuck Marsh, the co-producer and director of this show, and myself went down, and we thought, oh, we'll go down and it'll just be a fun evening and we'll make some marvelous contacts. When they got to the Best Series, we were nominated for Best Series, and we were very excited about that. And the program went on, and it dropped down to Best Single Show in the cultural category, and the nominees were For Art's Sake, produced by Dolly Vasta, Chuck Marsh, and the two other shows, which in my excitement, I can't even remember what they were. They opened the envelope and they said, and the winner is For Art's Sake, produced by Dolly Vasta and Chuck Marsh, and they presented us with this marvelous trophy. Chuck and I were so pleased and we were so ecstatic, and of course we were down in AC by ourselves with no one up here with us from the staff and the crew. And I think all we wanted to do was to yell and shout, hurrah, because it was so much fun doing. And at this moment, I know I couldn't get Chuck to come on here with me. You see, he refused. He managed to finagle it so that he didn't have to show up. But I owe a great deal to Chuck for how this program runs. I drive him crazy. There are sometimes he's ready to gag me, I'm sure. But he's been a wonderful director and co-producer. And I'd like to also thank at this time all the rest of the crew, to Pete and to Dave and to Cindy and to Kevin, who over the last 5 years have really made the show possible and hopefully as good as it is. To all of you out there too who really watch it, I thank you for becoming part of my family, which leads me into my final statement of this evening, and that's to wish you all a very Merry, Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, the greatest of holidays. May they be profitable and healthy, and may I see all of you again watching my show and watching all the shows coming from Channel 8, because they're all terrific, come January. So in the meantime, I'll see you all, and take care.
Now for Health Facts with Virginia Yarber. Virginia Yarber is a health educator at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital.
I'd like to talk to you for a few minutes about heart disease. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in the United States. Much of the heart disease could be prevented by proper diet and exercise. A diet low in cholesterol, low in fried fatty foods, and high in dietary fiber is the healthiest one that we can all use, not only for heart disease but many other diseases. Many people in our country experience a heart attack. Following a heart attack, a person may have many doubts and fears and anger about his personal health. Many of those fears are justified. His very life has been threatened. There are fears about whether or not the pain will come back, fears about whether or not the person will ever be able to go back to work, whether the person will be able to support his or her family. The family also has fears about what is happening to that victim of a heart disease. Even though the physician says that the person is getting better, those fears still linger, and that's natural. There are many ways that you can learn to live a fuller life following heart disease. Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital's Education Department has several programs to help people who've had heart disease lead a fuller life following their initial disease. One of the programs is called Happy Hearts. It's a support group that meets once a month on the third Thursday evening at 7 p.m. It's an educational support group. A lecture is given on heart disease, and a social hour follows. Another program that is conducted by the Education Department at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital is called Upbeat, and that program is for people who have experienced a heart attack during the past year. The program is conducted by a health educator, a physician who is a cardiologist, speaks on the anatomy and physiology of the disease. There's a dietitian to help with learning the proper diet to eat after a heart disease, as well as for healthy lifestyle for the rest of the family. There is also a session on stress management. You may get information about these programs by calling the Community Health Education Department at 937-8820. I'm Virginia Yarber, and this has been Health Facts.
Hello, and welcome to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner, Director of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. It's holiday shopping time again, but before you rush out to get your shopping started, let's take a few minutes to review some important shopping tips. First of all, know the refund policy of the stores where you are buying. New Jersey law does not require retail stores to provide refunds to customers. However, the store is required to disclose its return policy to its customers on a sign that is clearly visible or attached to the merchandise. Return policies vary from no refunds or exchanges at all to a very liberal policy of up to 90 days. The sign should stipulate the policy on sale merchandise and should tell you the number of days that you have to return the merchandise, whether or not a receipt is required, and whether you can receive a cash refund, credit to your charge account, or store credit only. If you are purchasing gifts for the holidays, you will want to know how many days you have to return the gifts when the holidays are over. You should also be aware that if a store has a policy of 20 days or longer for refunds, they are not required to post the policy. If you choose to do your shopping by mail, make sure you allow enough time for delivery before the holidays. Federal law requires that companies ship orders within the time promised in their advertisements, or if no time period is mentioned, they must ship your order within 30 days after they receive a properly completed order. If the company cannot meet this delivery, they are required to send you, the customer, an option notice where you can either cancel and receive a complete refund, agree to a substitution of merchandise, or agree to a later date. The rule does not cover photo finishing, magazine subscriptions, COD orders, season plans, or credit orders where your account is not charged until after the goods are shipped. If you order by mail, make sure that you keep a copy of the order form along with the company's name, address, and telephone number. Complete the order form as directed. If you leave out needed information, your order may be delayed. You should also be careful about reading advertisements. Be wary of fantastic bargains. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And please do your comparison price shopping before you purchase. Merchants are allowed to charge prices for their merchandise at their own discretion. There are no regulations controlling prices. It is up to the customer to do comparison price shopping before they make the purchases. If you have any further questions about shopping, please be sure to contact us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're in the office from Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. Call us with any questions. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware. See you again next week.
At Monday night's Township Council meeting, the main topic of discussion was the proposed federally funded housing for senior citizens. Betty Richter, Township Housing Specialist, introduced the consultant hired to facilitate the project, James Sweeney. Mr. Sweeney explained the requirements of the $4.5 million federal loan and the deadline set by HUD. The project's design and site plan must be submitted by January 27th. Township Planning Manager Leslie McGowan described the two properties being considered as sites and outlined staff recommendations. One property is located opposite Hall's Corner on Cranberry Road. The other is at Milltown Road and Riders Lane. Betty Richter explained possible sources of funding for purchase of the land, and Mayor Fox encouraged the council and township staff to act quickly on the project. The council will meet next Monday night in the courtroom at 8 p.m. That's all for this week. Join us next week for a musical rehearsal at Irwin School.